So, last week y'all did distributive property, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't do any that had fractions and decimals. So, as you know, we are distributing rational numbers, so you will be distributing also fractions and decimals. So, let's label this distributive property with fractions and decimals. Distributive property with fractions and decimals. Okay, so we remember that with distributive property, we trick or treat all the houses. That means we are going to distribute the number that is outside of the parentheses into each number inside the parentheses. So let's do, but today we're going to be using fractions and decimals. So let's do 1/2 times x plus 4. And again, this is an expression, so there is no equal sign. We are only simplifying. We're finding an expression that is equal to this. So in order to distribute this 1/2, we would say, I'm just going to write this out in expanded form. You don't have to write it in expanded form. Do it this time, but just know that when you're doing it in real life, you don't have to write it in expanded form. Okay, I want all computers closed and eyes on me. Thank you. Okay, so again, I'm writing this in expanded form just for you to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so as we know, when we distribute, we're going to trick or treat all the houses. So we're going to say 1/2 times x. So that would be 1/2 times x, and I'm going to use my dot instead of an x for multiplication. And then you're going to have 1/2 times 4. 4. And we know that 4 is a whole number. And a whole number written as a fraction is what? 4 over 1. 4 over 1. And this x is also a whole number, so it would also be x over 1. Any whole number written as a fraction is that number over 1. So, how do we multiply fractions? Who remembers how to multiply fractions? Straight across. Thank you, Clara. Very good. Straight across. So if we said 1 times x, that would be what? 1x. And the way we write 1x is just an x, right? And if we said 2 times 1, that would be what? 2. Okay? Okay, both of these are positive, so we know it's going to be positive or a plus sign. 1 times 4 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. So this is our more simplified version. So what this says is 1/2 times the group, x plus 4, is equivalent to x divided by x over 2 plus 4 over 2. Could we simplify this just a little bit more? How could we simplify? We could make that, this is an improper fraction, so we could say 4 over 2. Remember, all fractions are really division problems. So this says 4 divided by 2. So we could simplify this even further and say that x over 2 is equivalent to x over 2 plus 2. Because 4 divided by 2 is 2. So essentially what I'm saying is this is equivalent to this, which is also equivalent to this. Is there anything else we can simplify here? No, because we don't know what x is, do we? If we don't know what x is, this is as far as we can go. These are all expressions. So 1/2 times x plus 4 is equivalent to 1/2 x, because this is really 1/2 x plus 2. Same thing. Okay, I know that kind of blows your mind a little bit, right? So let's try another one. So let's do 1/3 times the group x plus 8. Let me make sure my camera still can see this. Okay, 1/3 times x plus 8. So when we distribute, we trick or treat all the houses. So we're going to say 1/3 times x, which is going to give us what? 1/3 x. And we could also write it like this, couldn't we? 1/3 x. Okay, and then we're going to say 1/3 times positive 8. We know that 8 as a fraction would be what? 8 over 1. So what would that give us? Positive 8/3. Thank you. Positive 8/3. Okay, so this is saying that 1/3 times the group x plus 8 is equivalent to 1/3 x plus 8/3. Could we simplify this just a little bit more? Yes, because we could go ahead and make this a mixed number, right? So let's do that. So we're going to keep our 1/3 x. And then we're going to simplify 8/3. 8 divided by 3 is what? 8 will go into 3 2 times, and it's positive, so we're going to put a plus sign. 2 times, and what's going to be left over? Let me show you over here. 8 divided by 3. I did 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to have 2 left over. 2 is less than 3. So that becomes my remainder of 2 over 3. So 2 2/3. So 1/3 x plus 8/3 is equivalent to 1/3 x plus 2 2/3. I want you to try this one on your own. It's okay if you're not right. We just saw this, okay? So I want you to try. Let's try 3/4 times the group x minus 6. We're trying to find an equivalent expression to 3/4 times the group x minus 6. Remember, trick or treat all the houses. Your scary fraction is trick or treating all the houses. So I'm going to expand it this time, show you what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to expand it. You ready? Are y'all are still working? I still see pencils moving, so I'm going to wait. Okay, so I'm just going to expand this. Remember, you don't have to do this, but if it helps you do it, that's fine too. So, if I trick-or-treated my 3/4 to the house of X, I would say 3/4 times X, and I know that X is really X over 1 because it's a whole number. And then I would distribute this 3/4 to -6. So I would say 3/4 times -6 over 1. So if I said 3/4 times X over 1, that would give me 3/4 X. And if I said 3/4 times -6 over 1, that would give me -18/4. Do you agree? This is how I got that. 3 times -6 is -18. And 4 times 1 is 4. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, could we leave it like this? Sure, we could leave it like this. Could we make this -18/4 a mixed number though, since it's improper? Yes. So we could leave 3/4 X. And then we could say -18 divided by 4. 4 will go into -18. We know our answer is going to be negative, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up there. 4 will go into 18 4 times. Thank you, Brennan. Then you would be left with 2. 2 is less than 4, so that's our remainder, right? So we're going to put 2/4. And we know that 2/4, we could reduce that, right? And we could make that -4 1/2. -4 1/2. So, what I'm saying here is 3/4 times the group X minus 6 is equivalent to 3/4 X minus 18 over 4, which is also equivalent to 3/4 X minus 4 1/2. This would be the most simplified version, but this is also correct. Okay, are y'all finished copying that? Okay, what if you had -1/5 times the group X plus 7? How could we find an equivalent expression here? What's a little bit different about this one? It's a negative fraction. Do we know how to multiply negative numbers? Then no problem, right? Okay, again, I'm going to expand this. So this is just expanded form. Negative 1/5 times x. And we know it's a whole number, so it's over 1. And then we could do negative 1/5 times 7. And we know that's also a whole number, so we just put it over 1. So negative 1/5 times x is what? Negative 1/5 x. No problem. And negative 1/5 times 7 is negative 7/5. Good. So this is equivalent to this. Could we go a little further with this? Could we make another equivalent expression? Yes? Why, Kaylee? Because the 7's bigger than the 5, right? It's improper fraction. So we're going to keep this negative 1/5 because it's not going to change. Negative 1/5 x. And then we're going to divide because we know that all fractions are really division. So this is negative 7 divided by 5. My answer is going to be negative, so I'm going to put it up there. 5 will go into 7 once. Thank you. 1 times 5 is 5. I subtract, and I get 2. 2 is less than 5, so that becomes my fraction of 2/5. Because we take this number, it's the bottom number. So negative 1 2/5 would be our final, most simplified expression. Okay, I want y'all to try this one. You think you got it? I think you do. I think you can do it. Let me move my paper up. Okay, try this one. Try 1/6 times G plus 8. 1/6 times the group G plus 8. Give me a thumbs up when you think you've got it. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs, so we're gonna move on. Let's expand. I would say 1/6 times G over 1, which is gonna give me 1/6 G. And then I would say 1/6 times 8. We know that 8 would be 8 over 1, which would give me positive 8/6. Who got that far? Great. Great. Okay, could we go a little bit further? Did anybody go a little bit further? Good. Okay, so you said you're going to keep that 1/6 G, right? And how did you do your 8/6? You divided 8 divided by 6. 6 will go into 8 how many times? 1 time. You're left with 2. Now look, you may get a number different than 2. It's not always going to be 2. It just happened to work out that way. So my fraction would be 2 over 6. And I know that 2/6 is equivalent to 1 1/3. Positive 1 1/3. So 1/6 times the group, G plus 5, is equivalent to 1/6 G plus 1 1/3. Okay? Flip my page and we will try. Let me make sure it's in focus. It is. Okay, let's try negative 2/3 times the group 6x minus 5. This one's a little bit different. How is this one different? Oh yes, well that really wasn't what I was talking about, but you're right, there is a 6 with the x. What else is different here? All of our other fractions have been like 1/2, 1/3. This one's got a 2 on top. That we still know how to multiply fractions, so that's okay. So let's distribute. I'm going to give y'all a minute to try, and then we'll see if you're right. Okay, so let's expand this. If I expanded this, this would say negative 2/3 times 6x over 1. And it would say negative 2/3 times negative 5 over 1. Did you expand it and did it look like this? Great. I walked around. Many of you did have it set up like this. Does it matter if your x is on top or bottom or in the middle? It doesn't. If there's an x there, you know there's an unknown number. Okay, so if I said negative 2 times 6x, what would that give me? Negative 12x. And if I said 3 times 1, that would give me 3. Okay? Now, this is a negative times a negative, so what's that going to make? So negative 2 times negative 10 is going to give you positive 10. And 3 times 1 is 3. Who got this far? Great. Great. Okay, now this time we got 2 improper fractions, right? So negative 12 divided by 3 is what? Negative 4x. And 10 divided by 3 is going to be what? Positive 3 1/3. Who got negative 4x plus 3 1/3? Great. I see a lot of smiles. Good job. You thought that one was hard for a minute, didn't you? Good. I like to see those smiling faces. Okay. Let's try a new one. Let's do 3/5 times 5x plus 4. 3/5 times 5x plus 4.
And now Fredable out about that box. Brandon, it's all about that thing.
I'm recording.
It ain't. My bad.
Okay, 3/5 times 5x plus 4. What did your expanded version look like? Carter, what'd your first parentheses look like?
3/5 times 5x over 1.
3/5 times 5x over 1. Very good.
And then 3/5 times 4 over 1.
3/5 times 4 over 1. Great. Okay, now let's do it. 3 times 5x is 3 times 5x is 15x. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay. 3 times 4 is
12.
positive 12. And 5 times 1 is 5. Who got this far? Awesome. Okay, can we make this a little bit easier to look at? Okay, 15x divided by 5 would be positive. 15x divided by 5 is positive 3x. And 12 divided by 5 is
3 and 1, positive 3 and 1/3.
not 3 1/3. 2 and 2/5. Positive 2 and 2/5. Because 12 divided by 5 would be 2.
Okay, I got one right. I was looking at the wrong problem.
You're looking at the wrong problem. That's okay. Okay, so this would be our most simplified version of this. Okay, I'm going to give you one to think about, okay? Two-thirds times 1/2 x plus 6. Write it in expanded form. It's not going to be as hard as you're thinking it is.
So if it's already a fraction, we don't put anything over it.
Y'all playing it open today?
Huh?
Are y'all playing it open today? I'll be there. Y'all probably see Kiefer sit the bench because he was in Washington with me last week. So he missed all week of practice.
I think this is right. I'm not sure.
I don't know if he'll get to play or not. It starts at 4, right? All right, so what would our expanded form here look like?
Does it start at 4?
We gonna play it for one of them.
The 7th grade boys play at 4,
Yeah.
and then the girls play at 5,
Yeah.
and then the 8th grade boys play at 6.
Yeah.
Okay, back to math. Sorry I got off on that little tangent there. What does your expanded form look like here?
I didn't do this.
You didn't do expanded form? You just did it in your head? Okay, that's fine, but I'm going to write it out in expanded form just so we can see what we're doing. So if I said 2/3 times 1/2 x, and then I said 2/3 times 6/1. Okay, let's see. What's 2 times 1? X. 2x. What's 3 times 2? So 26x. Then it's positive 2 times positive 6 gives you positive 12. And 3 times 1 gives you, who got this for? Awesome, you did it.
Is that a 12 over 30?
It is. Can you see it now?
A little bit.
Okay, so we have 2x plus 26x plus 12/3. Can we make that a little simpler? Sure, we can find another equivalent expression. I know that 26